Well, if you tuned into this last year, you know what sort of shit show we're about to have. Added in the fact that I'm struggling to keep stream live, but we're getting it rolling now, so there's no turning back. Pace car will come in, and our second Twitch Chat Indianapolis 500 will be underway. Colton Herta gonna lead him to green.
Green flag, green flag.
Well, lap one in the books. Colton Herta trying to peace out from the field. And there was some real craziness going on out of turn number 4 over there. Towards the back of the field, as Herta is already building a lead. And we did indeed make it a full lap completely without a wreck. I don't know how long we'll make it, but it certainly won't be very long. There's just no way. The AI at Indianapolis is just not all that good. So, the way this works, the way we had to work it last year, every car in the field has fast repairs. This year, though, instead of unlimited fast repairs, everyone is limited to 5. If you get into a wreck more than 5 times, I feel like that's on you at that point, or at least it's on your AI. But given that we only do Indy cars once a year, I do forget just how long a pit cycle is. As Colton Herta is into 3 and 4 here on lap number 3. And of course, our first incident, I'm going to be looking to see if the automatic yellows do actually turn on. Didn't really seem to happen last night. I kind of toggled it on and off. Because if they're going to work fine, then I don't need that damn auto stage app open that might try and throw a yellow at lap 198 if I forget. But the fact that we made it through this early part of the race with no yellow flag is actually really, really good, because the more spread apart these cars get, the less likely it is that we are going to have some sort of incident. Herta is absolutely gapping the rest of the field as we will try and go through the field. Let you get a look at everyone's schemes. So, multi-time IndyCar champion Scott Dixon is in the back of the field. 2-time Indianapolis 500 winner Takuma Sato. Dixon to the outside of him. Marcus Ericsson currently sitting 31st in his current scheme. All of the field fillers in their current schemes. TBNR Cars Gaming, back from a year ago. Evo in the number 99 Pepsi. I don't really know. I was going to say Chevy or Honda. Not really sure what it's supposed to be. But we do know that Evo won our NASCAR Chat Series All-Star race, as that got really close with Alexander Rossi, I believe, coming through 3 and 4. Yes, it is Alexander Rossi, sitting 27th at the moment. Lucas, familiar colors on his car, the number 10 here for this race in the Hooter scheme. Yo Gamer rocking Napa colors here today. For myself, I went with the Junior Motorsports Justin Allgaier number 40 Traveler Whiskey scheme. Somebody just made this. The guy that does the majority of the Indy stuff looks very good. Pato O'Rourke in 23rd place for the moment. Then Red Wings 22nd. Ash currently sitting 21. Little Haviland look on that car this year. Number 11, Splenda. Red Carpenter Racing. Ash and Austin close again. Ash trying to make a move around the outside and does so successfully. Will Power. 12, Penske. Horizon. Honda? Chevy. They're Chevy, right? Smee in the Bitcoin car. No more toxic waste for him, even though that is what he is. Goated in the Bucky's car. 3 and 4 here. Jordo didn't even ask her. Put a Kodak scheme on her car. I don't think she minds too much. D. Kuzmic. Oh, D. Kuzmic didn't load in either. That was supposed to be Scott McLaughlin's Freightliner scheme. Looks a lot like the Logitech car we just moved him to for the NASCAR Chat Series. Jeff currently sitting P14 in the Ferrari. Squid. I'm not a big IndyCar guy. This is or not Squid, rather, Sparty. This is a throwback to somebody, but I don't really remember who, even though I really should. Graham Rahal, currently sitting 12th. Stingray Rob in the Yukos car. Brad Realtor back for his second attempt at the Indianapolis 500. Pat, good position in a new look for him as well. The Krispy Kreme, number 3. Currently 8th, the reason we had to restart qualifying, it is not Ricky Larson, it is Joseph Newgard. Dollar sign in the 45 Mobile 1 scheme. Currently sits in 7th. Very late addition to the field in Aiden 2 Solid. Join the NASCAR Chat Series in the Kyle Larson schemes. So Kyle Larson's scheme is what he gets for this race. Elio Castro Neves. His scheme didn't load either. I tried and tried and tried, and it just would not. Squid in the Gay Racing Podcast, 00. Gundy sits P3. Last year, returning from last year's Nico Moore in 2nd, and back up to the front of the field in Colton Herta as we are on lap 10 of 200 here at Indianapolis today. And this is just a surprising start. That we have gone, I don't know if we went 10 laps under green, but once in last year's race. Which is just absolutely bonkers. So we're of course gonna want to take a look at the back of the field, just in case live timing misses something, and we do have to throw a yellow flag. If a yellow flag comes out a little bit too late, then I think the right thing to do will be throw the yellow as soon as we do notice. And then, if need be, give a lap back. But man, oh man, that back of the field is really slow. Only the top 6 cars are within 10 seconds of the leader. Nico Moore, Gundy, Squid, Castro Neves at 8 and 2 solid, but I fear that he might drop back outside of 10 seconds here shortly. And you know what's really funny about this is that in a very short test I did last night, it was really odd to see that the entire top of the field really kind of stayed together. So what Colton Herta is doing right now is both unexpected and impressive. So let's go to the back of the field, actually, and take a look at where Scott Dixon is. Just coming out of turn 2 here. And then if we really quickly go back up, there is Herta going through 1 and 2. So we are still a long ways away from any sort of lapped cars, but we'll see how this shakes out. So now we settle in for 200 laps at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Hopefully, the early stages of it are a little bit more entertaining than what we've had. Or hopefully, as the race goes on, it'll be more entertaining than watching Colton Herta gap the field by 3 seconds. Now, there could be the thing where Colton Herta is just absolutely balls to the wall driving right now. and is using up his stuff way too early, which can open the door for Nico Moore, sitting back about 3 seconds as that gap has just kind of plateaued a little bit, right around 3 seconds. Let's take a lap with Colton Herta. See what it's like to go around Indianapolis. Well, I had said that Colton Herta, his gap to second place in Nico Moore had kind of plateaued a little bit. Not really the case. He's added 0.3 of a second to that gap since then. I don't know if Nico Moore had a really good corner or Herta had a bad one, but now 0.2 of a second back. So let's take a look. Ash and Austin still in close proximity. I say that as Austin is kind of flirting with dropping even farther back with Red Wings right on his tail. I do wonder what Austin's hopes for the Indianapolis 500 are, as Red Wings is trying to make a move on him. Let's go take a look at that. Too wide into the corner at Indianapolis. Never really works all that well. It just worked out there, and Austin actually fights it off momentarily. A bit of a surprise. Seemed to be backing up towards the 71. Didn't work out that way. I'm sure there are some decent battles right now. I honestly think we're probably looking at the best one on track. Maybe these guys back here, not really. So we'll continue to follow along as Red Wings is trying to make that move yet again into turn 3. Austin will shut the door and for the moment maintain 21st place. Nico Moore just inside, 3.2 seconds back of Colton Herta. And if Ash is correct on the pit window, 30 to 35 laps for these cars, as we have been green almost 20 laps, and I can't honestly believe it. Colton Herta could run into some problems, though, when he does get to lap traffic. I can't imagine that that's going to be quite ideal. As, yeah, Ash has pieced out. And also joining this battle just a little bit is the 99 of Evo, just right behind with Yo Gamer in tow. It does suck to see all these chat cars all the way in the back here, but long way to go, and if you keep it clean, like we have done so far, this is still anybody's race. And the incidents that we will have, there is not a chance in hell that this race stays green for all 200 laps. There's just not a way. I really find it hard to imagine. So Colton Herta coming out of turn number 4. Actually, sorry, out of turn number 2. Trying to complete lap 20. 20 laps under green to start our second running of the Indy 500. So now only the top 4 within 10 seconds of each other. Really a shock to me that it's this spread out. I don't know if that was just some weird glitch in the audio. It certainly sounded like something happened, but maybe not the case. Scott Dixon is still bringing up the rear, 35 seconds back of Colton Herta. If this were true skills and stats, it'd be tough to imagine Scott Dixon being last for the entire opening stages and that Ganassi car not having speed. But that is the case for the moment. And everyone's come around the pit lane, so I think it's safe to say it was just some weird audio back there. Stretching that lead, and you see it there, to just about 3.5 seconds for Colton Herta. But we are nearing our first, presumably, green flag pit stops of the day. We didn't really get a lot of those in last year's running. In fact, I'm not entirely certain we got any. Squid battling to stay within 10 seconds of Herta for the moment. We'll give the Gay Racing podcast some camera time. Every time I see that Gainbridge ad come up, I think that there's a caution, and there's not. I see yellow up in that corner, and I'm like, oh, that ain't good. Well, what the hell am I doing in the back of the field with the rest of everybody else? Nobody's really doing much of anything. Oh, I know. You know, the second that we throw a yellow flag, one of our debris cautions, which I'm not really sure that I fixed from the All-Star race, I'm going to hope that I did, that it's going to certainly fuck up everything. I think the next time these cars get packed up together is when things go horribly wrong, which is not what we want. If we have a clean running of this race, my goodness, I'd be shocked. Genuinely shocked. TBNR Cars was looking for a move inside of Lucas. Will not be able to get it done this time around. Check back in with Austin. Gapped the Red Wings just a little bit, but certainly lost a ton of time trying to keep that spot to Ash, who is up in 20th place now and setting her sights on Will Power. The longer this stays green, Colton Herta could very much catch the back of the field. I mean, even 30th place Rosenquist is 37 seconds behind. It might be a good idea to head back up to the front of the field. And yeah, just barely behind the ticker, you could see Scott Dixon in Colton Herta's view. 25 laps is all that it has taken for Herta to catch lap traffic. Look at the speed difference. It might just be camera angle. You know there's a speed difference here. Colton Herta's car cheated up. What we got going on here? I do believe Colton Herta's led every lap from the pole of the Indianapolis 500. This is, I do believe, where we're going to want to keep our eyes on. He's going to have to catch him in the right places, that's for sure. And I mean, it's just a line of cars coming up here, and he's going to start to get a toe off Scott Dixon. And I mean, with that toe, if he doesn't get this pass done on a straightaway, does Colton Herta overdrive a corner with the speed that that car has? And I mean, that's generally the thing. They get a slipstream, they don't really know what to do with it. As Colton Herta is coming to the pit lane, as is Nico Moore, Gundy behind, all to the pit lane on lap 27, which means Squid is going to inherit the lead for the moment. Really our first lead change, you could say, of the day. So pit stop's coming a little bit earlier than expected, which does surprise me just a little bit. And we'll see how long Squid wants to just take advantage of the clean air. I mean, nobody in front of you. He had a good distance from himself to the rest of the lap traffic. It certainly looks like the 00 is going to come down this time. And he does. Elio Castroneves in behind him. And Aiden 2 Solid, the newest addition to our chat series roster, will lead a lap at the Indianapolis 500. I would think that at least for the moment, with no fuckery really occurring, at least so far in this pit cycle, that it should cycle around just about how we think it will. Now it certainly looks like Aiden will come down the pit lane. But will Dollarsign follow in tow? Yes, he will. As does Joseph Newgarden. As does Pat. Rad Realtor is going to stay out on the track. And he will, just barely, lead a lap of the Indianapolis 500. Stingray Rob for the moment in 2nd spot, followed by Graham Rahal, Caleb in 4th, Jeff's Ferrari in 5th. D. Kuzmic, I feel bad that his car didn't load, but I don't think he's been back since last year's Indy 500 either. Jordo into 7th spot, C. Goated 8th, Smee 9th, and Will Power in 10th. So Rad Realtor to the pit lane. Stingray Rob follows him behind, as does Rahal, as does Caleb. So it looks like El Jefe will also lead a lap of the Indianapolis 500. Like Austin coming out of the pits, or maybe Pato Award. Not entirely sure. All the cars in the back of the field burning maybe a little bit less fuel, using a little bit less tires, could be able to go a little bit long. It just feels like the front of the field primarily. Okay. There it is. Debris caution has been redeemed. Well, and this Indianapolis 500 just turned on its head. We wanted some chaos. Apparently we got it. I do have to make sure that those are still only limited to 2. Well, our first debris caution did not produce the chaos it wanted to, but it did produce some chaos. I have no idea what the back of this pack is doing. A good chunk of the field lined up single file on the inside. Pace car to the pit lane. And Colton Herta leads us back to green. And we'll see if these cars are going to be able to keep it clean like we did at the start of this race. Or if this has really truly begun the crash fest. Nico Moore trying to stay close to Colton Herta to get a toe down the back. For the moment, it looks like he's done it, as we got through 1 and 2 clean. Could be our first real move for the lead. Nico Moore does not have the run. Can he get it down the front, or is Colton Herta going to try and run away with this again? He might be trying to run away with it. I don't know if that 26 is going to be able to be stopped today. Big run from Nico Moore as they got to the end of the front stretch. Whoa, that was Dollarsign who kissed the wall out of turn 2 as it potentially has started. Everyone clean through 1 and 2 on lap 37. Back of the pack is still an absolute madhouse. I mean, look at this. How is this going to work? absolute chaos in the back of the field at Indy. Oh, Squid, please don't try and make it 3 wide. Mercifully, he did not. Whoa, somebody else in the wall. Looked like Austin kissed it. It's happening. Just nobody has crashed massively yet. Just a little kiss on the wall. Not sure if the 68 has any damage. But we stay green. Oh, that didn't look very good. I do not like any of what is happening at the back of this field. Colton Herta has already stretched the lead 1.3 seconds over Nico Moore in second place. Whoa, looked like problems behind. I saw some smoke. And it is Austin with some problems in turn 2. Caution will come out. Our first real crash of the day. So from the blimp cam, we'll see what just happened to the 68. 2 wide in front of him. And somebody parked it and Austin Arca braked them. Oh my God. Front end of the 68 airborne. That was nasty. So heading into turn number 1 here. Somebody's just out of shape on the bottom. Austin just runs him over. And that 68 will be the first car, I believe, well, Takuma Sato, to use a fast repair. But of course, you do still have to tow back to the pit lane, which means it's still going to take some time. Of the day, 68, Arca braked, I believe Felix Rosenquist, who I don't think his scheme is loaded up properly either. Pace car to the pit lane, and we will be back to green at Indianapolis.
Green flag, green flag.
Whoa, somewhere we do have trouble on the racetrack. Red Wings in an incident. Let's take a look at this as our third yellow flag of the day. Now, from the blimp cam for Red Wings, I saw him drive all the way down the front straightaway with that right front wheel off the tether. Nothing of note yet. Into turn 4. Contact looked like with Pat. Hard in the wall. Does not appear that anyone else gets caught up in this, but a good chunk of cars that got stuck behind him lost positions. So now, good old TV cam. Little contact with Pat's right rear. That's all it took to upset the front of the 71. And finally, from the gyro cam. Just turned right in. Looked like, oh, Pat hit the apron a little bit. It actually wasn't even Red Wings' fault. Oh, man. Really unfortunate for the 71. Back to green as this race has fully turned into a crash fest after the debris yellow. Colton Herta has pitted. His stranglehold on the field is over for the moment as Nico Moore takes lap 48. Well, Nico Moore trying to get away, and a development after that yellow flag. Even though the 68 of Austin crashed harder on his incident, the 71 of Red Wings is out of this Indianapolis 500, will not return, will finish last in our second ever running. Unfortunate. I know we hit hard, but man, the 68 had way more visible damage, which is really shocking to see. And I mean, it still happens. You can give them fast repairs all you want. There's still going to be some cars that just DNF for, I won't say no reason, but some cars DNF and some cars do not. Nico Moore a little out of shape. They're out of turn one. As it really is looking like whoever's leading this race, at least until we kind of get jumbled up and the front of this field gets stuck back in traffic, that it looks like the leader's just going to try and peace out. Hard to say, as Nico Moore in a couple laps here, 2 laps, has stretched this, well, 3 laps, stretch this to about a 2-second lead over TBNR cars. And every yellow flag that we do get, at least for this current moment in time, is letting Austin back in this race as DFL has officially escaped him in this Indianapolis 500. Well, who knew the 91, all it needed was some clean racetrack, because he has stretched the gap way bigger than Colton Herta did in way less time. Already almost a 3-second lead for Nico Moore, which is a massive surprise. Whoa, whoa, out of turn one. That was terrifying. And Ash is, yet again, making moves back of the field. A couple yellow flags ago, up to 11th. We'll take a look at your biggest movers of the day for the moment, but it is, of course, with a grain of salt, because we have had a couple funny yellows, mid-pit strategy, everything. Some cars just trying to do something different. TBNR Cars is up 25 places from the start of this race. Lucas is actually the biggest mover that I can see, up 26. He currently sits 7th. Yo Gamer as well. Myself, actually. 20-plus spots up on the day. This field has just kind of flipped. But again, it is a little bit in between cycles. We have a lot of different strategies, it appears, going on right now. Colton Herta is currently listed as the biggest loser, losing 21 places back to 22nd. That was your pole sitter and your early dominator of this race. Ash and Pat are in close proximity, though. That's never a good sign. But what is a good sign is that we might actually have some green flag running here for a little bit. But this back of the field, they're starting to get single file, but packed really closely together. So, I mean, really tough to say. Will Power is now in the back of the field. He's the last car on the lead lap. In with Takuma Sato. Caleb back here too, unfortunately. He's yet to have really a good result in any of our chat races yet this year. To the outside of Graham Rahal in turn 3. Rahal kind of moved up the track on him. Caleb got out of it smartly. Do we have all chatters in the top 10? Nico Moore, TBNR Cars, Jordo, myself, Yo Gamers, it's me, technically, Lucas, Gundy, Jeff, and Pat, yeah. Well, that's worked out, hasn't it? It didn't look like that was going to be the case early in the running. Once again, though, for our leader of this race, that lead just tries to stop right around 3 seconds, and maybe that's Nico Moore saying, I don't really need much more. And you can tell just by the exits of the corners for the 91 that driving just the absolute shit out of it. Honestly, going too fast. And we saw it in that first fuel run. The cars at the front of the field had to pit earlier than the rest, and it would have been interesting to see how that played out had that first run been able to go green all the way throughout. Again, there are either 1 or 2 debris cautions available to redeem in chat. The general number is 2, but I actually had that set to like 6, which I don't really remember doing, because the limit for the All-Star race was 4, so maybe when I tried to change it, I hit the wrong button, because I did at least update the price. So I have no idea what was up with that, but a 3.5 second lead, and I mean the back of the field already we're about to be green for 10 laps here. The back of the field is already a long way behind your leader in Nico Moore. And that car just still looks really unhappy, especially coming out of turn 2. But somehow, this thing is fast. Ash has not really lost any ground to Pat since we were last here. Still relatively close. Just about everybody in this current stretch is. And how about the run for Scott Dixon? Up 19 spots on the race, sitting 13th as we speak. Car that was in last place the entirety of the first run. Squid, albeit down 14 places, is back up to 19th. Back 14 places from where he started. This car was the last on the lead lap when we took the green flag. So the top 4 inside 10 seconds, or at least second, third, and fourth inside of 10 seconds of Nico Moore, who is honestly on a crazier pace than Colton Herta. I mean, you see what I mean, though. Every time he exits, I want to pay attention to him coming out of turn 4. Actually, because that car really gets unhappy out of turn 2. And that cannot be good for the tires, which is certainly going to limit the amount of time that he can go here. Let's take a look at the 91 out of 4. He's got no issue with... Well, actually, so we really need to pay attention to him out of turn 1, yes? Or is that where he's fucking up? Let's take a look here. It's turn 1, so actually next time around, let's take a look at him out of turn 3. No, he's fine there. And I mean, whatever he's doing is working. But still, damn. Dropping to the bottom here. middle of the track. I'm not really sure why. Is there a problem with this car? Or, actually, does Nico Moore have to pit again? He may have only pitted once. It does appear that that's the case. Only one pit stop really for about your top 7, as Nico Moore does pit from the lead. And that'll hand the lead over to TBNR Cars, who now has a 2.4 second lead over Jordo as pit cycles might just take over this race. We might always have guys close to pitting as Nico Moore dropped back. And I mean, it makes sense. He stayed out when Colton Herta did not. Colton Herta has actually been just stuck back in traffic. He's actually lost positions since the restart. 24th place currently, down 23 places from where he started. Cars, Jordo, myself, good to stay out for now. As Nico Moore pitted all by himself, it's not the absolute death wish that it is at some of the other tracks that we go to. Specifically, the NASCAR tracks. That sounds like a car that's coming down pit road, but it doesn't look like a car that's coming down pit road. Cars will stay out for the time being. I don't know what I did that lap. Feels like I lost a bunch of pace. So your top 10 still reads all chatters. Cars, then Jordo, myself, Yo Gamer, Smee, Lucas, Gundy, Jeff, Pat, and Ash are your top 10 on lap 65 of 200 in the Indianapolis 500. Far cry from what we had in this race a year ago is now, I do believe, the 79 will come down pit road. And yes, he will. Far cry from what we had a year ago in terms of yellow flags. They were constant last year. Jordo takes lap 66. Whoa. Really, the leader in general is just getting really close to smacking the wall out of turn 2. Nobody's done it yet, but they have come really damn close. This is another car that has only had one pit stop. I mean, for whatever reason, Squid has pitted 4 times. Elio Castroneves has pitted 3. I mean, I guess he's just taking advantage of the yellow flag. Well, I guess I get to lead a lap of the Indianapolis 500. Why not? I certainly didn't do it a year ago when I tried the triple. Look at my car. I wasn't wildly out of control out of 2. Maybe that means slow. Yo Gamer moves into 2nd place. I mean, it took a while to officially say it. So I'll come down the pit lane, which will give the lead over to Yo Gamer. Actually, from 3rd, pits Smee. So a couple cars going to come down the pit lane this time by. But it didn't look like it was going to occur when we had the debris yellow. But, I mean, it has caused some chaos in this race because otherwise, everyone would have been on the same strategy. And for the time being, that is, I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get back on the same strategy again. So Yo Gamer will also pit from the lead. Will he give it to Lucas? No, Lucas into the pits as well. It'll be Gundy that stays out. Take the lead and lead lap 68 to take lap 69. We stay green. This could be the rest of the race. Just cars pitting from the lead. I'm not even kidding. One or two cars pit every lap or so. Hard to say what's going to happen. Oh. Well, so let's take a look here. So, we actually have cycled out, I do believe, the cars that needed to stop. These cars, however, at the front of the field are getting close. Your leader and Gundy pitted on lap 40. That's 30 laps ago. So a pit stop from the lead will be coming shortly. As Jeff has moved into second, Ash to third, or Ash to fourth rather, Pat in third. And all of those cars pitted on lap 40. All the way back to Elio Castro Neves in seventh spot. So Gundy's going to get to lead some laps here. Scott Dixon has dropped a lap, as has Alexander Rossi. Let's just go make sure that nothing weird's happening there. Rossi's running. Dixon is running. You would assume you have to chalk that up to bad pit stops. Nobody else has had a problem. Or, of course, being a little bit far back in the field. Well, pit stop's still coming for the 48, your current leader. Again, that was over 30 laps ago. About 30, 35 is how long you can go. So that will change. So then, we head back to Squid, who sits in 8th currently. He pitted at lap 45. If we stay green, he will be able to lead for a good chunk of the time. As Gundy does finally make the move, as does El Jefe. Pat gonna come into the pit lane. Ash does as well. Brad Realtor will assume the lead of the Indianapolis 500. Last year's edition pretty much redeemed an entry into this race a year ago. I don't think we ever really saw him again, but that's fine. The more chat cars that we do have in this race, you do have to say the better. Because let's be honest, who wants Scott Dixon or Colton Herta to win this damn thing? Brad Realtor will be making the move soon as well, as Alexander Rossi will pass him, get his lap back. We head back to see Govin. He will come down the pit lane, as does Castro Neves, which means, I do believe, Squid takes the lead of the Indianapolis 500, as we expected him to do. Lap 75 of 200. nearing the halfway point, I guess you could say, within a pit cycle. Squid's going to be able to stay out for a few laps, and yeah, unbelievably, let's take a look at when Evo pitted. He also pitted on lap 40, so you would expect the 99 to come down pit road this time, and he does. So back to Squid, who had a 5-lap pit stop advantage. I want to say that he pitted twice under one yellow flag. I thought that was the case when we were in the midst of that yellow. And I mean, cars just everywhere right now. Colton Herta is back up to 3rd place. And the way that this has transpired so far, you do have to imagine that this race is going to come down to who's on the right strategy and who got it the most perfect. Austin actually lost another lap somehow during all of that. Back out on track. Just behind your leader in Squid, actually. So when Squid does pit, although Dalasine is trying to get around Austin, when those cars do pit, you would imagine that lap will be returned. So now, in terms of the pit cycle, your top 7 pitted on lap 45, and I thought they could have gone a little bit farther, as Dalasine will inherit the lead. But now we'll see those lap 45 pit stops as Dalasine way out of shape. First time we've seen that in a minute. But that has generally translated to fast. Lap traffic to contend with. Actually, Austin got his lap back organically just by being in front of the 45, who looks like he's making the move to the pit lane this time. Yes, he is. D. Kuzmic will do the same in behind him. Then we have Joseph Newgarden. He does the same, as does Caleb, as does Will Power, which means it's going to cycle back to Nico Moore in the front of the field. So we have finally completed the pit cycle, which means we might actually be home free for a little while. Nico Moore pitted on lap 62, so there is a good chunk of time remaining until he has to pit again. This is a dangerous thing to do. I'm going to get up and be right back with you shortly. So we will ride along with Nico Moore. Actually, you know what? We'll go to a camera I don't generally go to, TV Spectator, while I'm gone. Well, while I was gone, this TV spectator cam has given us a little bit of a gem. I came back to see, we'll see it here when Nico Moore comes down the front stretch. There's a lady in the crowd here on the near side that just phases into existence. That is quite bizarre. So Nico Moore, your leader, pitted on lap 62. So over 20 laps ago. And what I do believe is our longest green flag run of the race. Did not miss any incidents while we were gone. Will Power may have pitted, as did Caleb. Is that looking correct? Lap 78. That might have been right at the tail end, right before I did get up. So Nico Moore is your leader. However, do have to mention this because it really hasn't had the chance to happen much today. He is getting caught a little bit by TBNR cars sitting in second place. Graham Rahal fighting to stay on the lead lap. 42 seconds off the lead. The car right in front of the Rainbow Apple TV machine of Nico Moore. Well, we're certainly on record pace for a Chat Indianapolis 500. I know we only had the one last year. But that one was such a crash fest in it. We ran it 2 separate times because of, well, we might have even tried to run it 3 times before we finally decided on just this format. And the sad part is I was really disappointed, just with how all that played out, as Nico Moore is going to try and put Graham Rahal a lap down here, I do believe. Yes, he will. To the inside, but could not get the move done, which is only going to bring in TBNR cars just a little bit closer. Because we had that plan for some time, and I had tested it and tested it and tested it, and then somewhere along the way, these AI just forgot how to race Indy completely. Is the move will be made on Graham Rahal. That got a little bit dicey. Rahal actually is going to fight off your leader, and 0.2 of a second back is TBNR Cars. This might be our first real pass for the lead if he can pull it off. Not yet. Quiet on the front since I have been back. I don't think there's been a pass on track where that spread out. At this current moment, here we go. Nico Moore with a little bit of a block there. And I don't know if that was necessarily a block or him trying to get around Rahal. But that didn't work. And now look who's joining the party. Not that far behind. Nico Moore has to make this move soon. And TBNR Cars, because Jordo's in the picture now. These cars are more or less on the same pit cycle. Nico Moore pitted on lap 62. Cars on 65. Jordo on 66, as we do have a 3-way battle for the lead. But nobody can really get around each other. The 43 looking to the inside for second place. Might just have it. Not really. Cars with a good run on the outside. As Nico Moore just cannot clear the lapper of Graham Rahal. He's going to try it again. This time he's to the inside of Rahal. But can he complete the move? Not yet, not clear. Now he's got it done. Whole new race at the front of the field but just in time for them to pit again. They're going to be 1 lap shy of 30 laps on the pit cycle this time around. Good news for these cars is they should be able to exceed that just a little bit because they have been in traffic most of the time. It shouldn't be like that first run when Colton Herta just blitzed everybody and had to pit on lap 27 because his car was never in the slipstream again. But here, really any moment, you can expect pit stops. Back to Smee in 6th place. And then we're really just going to do it all over again. Now, there are a couple cars kind of buried back in the field. Marcus Ericsson and Pato O'Ward, who pitted on lap 69, that will also be shortly behind this group. Nico Moore to the outside of Will Power to put another car a lap down. I feel like at this stage of last year's race, we might have had maybe 12 cars on the lead lap, because now Caleb is going to have to battle to keep that spot. TBNR Cars is indeed back to 2nd place. Back around the Kodak 43. And there goes Nico Moore. 30 laps from his last pit stop. Nico Moore comes in. And now Cars trying to make a move on Graham Rahal. He cannot, which is going to allow me to join the party. Back in 3rd. And the longer this goes on, the more the leader will bunch everything right back up. Will Rahal be as much of a pain in the ass to Cars as he was to Nico Moore for the moment? Yes, battles back on the outside. Could see a pass for the lead here. Not yet. But certainly close at the top of the field. All that leading that Nico Moore did is going to really prolong the run of the 79 and the 43, 1st and 2nd, really 1st through 5th right now, I would imagine, because Nico Moore led in some clean track for a minute. What a menace Graham Rahal has been. Certainly made things interesting in the front of the field. Reminder on, of course, on those debris yellows that they will be ignored after we hit 20 to go. Now we're getting close. Cars had about a 3-lap advantage on the pit stop from Nico Moore. Nico Moore was lap 62 his last stop. Cars 65, and he certainly looks like he's coming in this time by, and the 43 will inherit the lead. So it's J Square in a battle for the lead of the Indianapolis 500. But nobody's really been able to make a pass. A lot of passes in pit cycle. The lead change numbers are going to be outrageous. But a lot of times when these cars have gotten close to passing, they haven't been able to pull it off. Cars was the only one down pit road that last time. 43 certainly looks like it's going to make that move this next time by. It does. I will follow. And that means Yo Gamer assumes the lead. As we will do it again. 4 cars came in that time. Myself, Jordo, Smee, and Lucas from the top 10. Yo Gamer pitted on lap 68. He is the last of this cycle. Might stay out one more lap. Lead a couple at the front of the field here in Indy. Certainly looks like he will on the high side out of turn 3. And then after the Old Gamer pits, Gundy has a 5-lap advantage on fuel. Could be able to lead for just a little bit. All went wrong with Graham Rahal. Nobody was really able to get around him despite numerous efforts, as there is Smee going a lap down for the time being. Whoa! I don't know what any of that was. It almost looked like Smee took a swipe at the 56. And Yo Gamer probably a lap earlier than expected will come to the pit lane. And Gundy will come across to take lap 99 of the Indianapolis 500. Hour and a half in. This race took almost 4 hours to complete last year with the amount of yellows. This is by far preferable, we do have to say. So, yet again, we will take a ride along with your leader in the 48. Nice little quiet lap around Indianapolis. Well, here we go. Pit stops, let's see. D. Kuzmic went off track. What has happened here? D. Kuzmic dropping like a rock, and he is stopped on the racetrack. The yellow flag will come out. No indication that he actually crashed, just that he stopped. So we are on board with D. Kuzmic. It was our first incident yellow in some time, and it was all by himself. Smacked the wall hard, hit hard again. The entire side pod torn up. And the only indication I got of it was that he stopped on the track. That's it. Well, this is really our first self-inflicted wound of the day. Ow. Hard into the wall once. Hard to steer without a right front tire into the wall again. And you see the damage on the side of the 62. Well, not really a great angle to see it, but trust me, it's there. The Twitch Chat Indianapolis 500 will be coming back to green. A familiar sight at the front of the field. If you've watched the Indy 500 either of the last 2 years, Joseph Newgarden at the front of the field as we go back to green.
Green flag, green flag.
Oh my goodness, that is Will Power coming down the pit road under green, a lap since we took the green flag. here on lap 106. But I guess I shouldn't shit-talk it too much. We have seen a lot of, well, we saw it in the All-Star race. Some very strange pit strategy, at least at the time, somehow find a way to work out. But important to remember, for anybody that wants to call a caution late in this race, that could give everybody the fuel to go to the end, if they so choose, that the leader has liked to peace out all day. We have got to go back and take a look at the mid-pack here, because this is still a hornet's nest. Looks like a Daytona race back here. I thought I had seen the 43 maybe kiss the wall momentarily there on that first lap. If that car did, certainly not enough damage to keep it off the track. Might not steer all too great. Hopefully, the back of this field will just sort itself out and everybody will be back to just running as normal. What a bizarre decision, though, from Will Power. Let's take a look and see where he's at. Fighting to stay on the lead lap from his teammate. I do not get it. If you were going to pit, watch Will Power win the Indianapolis 500, of course, the way that this week is gone. But I can't comprehend most of the field coming down the pits, all but 5 cars. Well, and some lappers at the back. And then pitting once we take the green flag. That's what doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Now, Will Power is staying in front of Newgarden for the moment. But I just do not understand. I thought I just heard some rustling there. Well, yep, it's Nico Moore. Oh, no. Nico Moore, who led a good chunk of this race, is in the wall, and the yellow flag is going to come out again. Oh, no. Well, unfortunately for Nico Moore, he did it all on his own. I think he may have hit the apron, and up the track he went, and just almost identical to D. Kuzmic's wreck that brought out our last yellow flag. Almost the exact same thing. Well, this is going to feel a little bit like deja vu, because we just saw this replay, and he did not hit the apron, just kept it in the gas and smacked the wall all on his own, and that second hit was real hard. And once again, we're lucky that no other cars were collected. You can see the tire tracks in the grass from when D. Kuzmic was just in this same spot with an identical hit. Well, as we come to take the green flag here on lap, what's going to be 113, we'll ride around with Ash around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, I was going to see if I could burst any bubbles. That is not currently the case. Ash could lead this race for a solid little bit here, as she is pieced out off the restart with Pat in second. Remember that Ash pitted on lap 100, so 14 laps into a fuel run. But also remember that we've had 2 cautions since then. Came down pit road right as that lap 101 caution had occurred. So Ash has already stretched the lead to a second over Pat as we will head to the back of the field, which is always chaotic here off these restarts, just to try and make sure that everybody's going to get through cleanly, and if they don't, we'll be right on top of it. Nico Moore is back out there and only lost 1 lap. Very important to know. Currently the second car 1 lap down. But appears... Actually, no, Austin is a little bit farther up the road. That is actually Pato O'Ward in the McLaren underneath Nico Moore right now. 2 McLarens on the track, very similar schemes, just inversed from each other. And now Nico Moore can start to climb back into this thing. Takuma Sato sits between him and the 68. For that first car a lap down, to get that free pass, even though Austin has had multiple chances to get it all day and has really decided not to. So, incredibly lucky for Nico Moore, by the way, to only lose the 1 lap. Barely got it out in front, I could imagine, because every other car has lost 2 that's been involved in an incident today. Oh my goodness, the 91. Terrifying. That looked really scary. Whoa, speaking of scary, we jump back to Ash, and she was inches away from the wall at the exit of turn number 1. But 3.2 seconds in front of Pat. We get a late race restart. There is just no denying that the car that leads at the time of the restart is probably going to win this race, especially after lap 180. When the chat cautions, the debris cautions are disabled. So Ash is about halfway through her current fuel run into the wall. Oh, that is going to be important to keep an eye on. That was not a small hit. Not dropping to the bottom of the track, so maybe trying to keep it out here. Oh no, right behind Pat has crashed, and the yellow flag will come out. What has happened to the number 3 on the back straightaway, no less? It is yet another self-inflicted wound as Pat just drives too hard out of turn number 1, slaps the wall. It's still a very identical crash to our last 2 yellows. But Pat actually was able to go a little bit further. That second hit was not as bad and actually just parked it on the back straightaway. Well, now you're Pat on board. There you see it. Just, again, drove it too hard out of turn 2. Drove it straight up the racetrack. I don't know why he tried to even drive out of this, but it was never going to go any way other than it did, and that's a stopped car on the back straightaway. Well, we're back to the Crash Fest, at least momentarily. Last week's NASCAR Chat Series All-Star Race winner in Evo will lead the field of green here on lap 121, about to be lap 122. Well, there it is. Evo, I'm not sure if he's led a lap of this Indianapolis 500. We've had a bunch of different leaders, but he does indeed take lap 123. And I mean, let's take a look at our pit situation. Oh my goodness, the top 15 pitted on lap 102. Everybody else is just kind of scattered. And in fact, if you go all the way back to Pato O'Ward in 20th, he pitted on lap 98 of this race. So we are not home free from the pit stops if this race can stay green. That has been the struggle. And our last 3 yellows have been a car all on their own hitting the exit of turn 2, or turn 1 rather, that wall. I mean, truth be told, just identical cautions, the last 3 yellows that have come out. But for the moment, the 99 leads, and it is not as big of a lead, a couple laps into a run from what we're accustomed to. We'll go on board with Evo yet again. I did just kind of want to see just how wild that turn 1 exit can be on board. And that didn't even look like the most exaggerated version of what we've seen today, but it still doesn't look very fun. So we can guesstimate within 10 laps for sure for the number 99 to pit for the lead, and especially with the clean track out in front of him. Will his scheduled pit stop come before he or anyone else slaps the wall? Your top 10 for the moment. 99 of Evo, the 72 of Rad Realtor is back into the mix. J-Mac, that's Jeff, otherwise known as El Jefe, sitting in 3rd place. Then Gundy back up to 4th. Squid sitting 5th for the moment. TBNR Cars, who you might consider one of the fastest cars on the track right now, even though Colton Herta is back up to 15th. Cars was really top 3. Herta kind of got shuffled back in the pit stops. Really hasn't rebounded since. Pitted from the lead, but nobody else did. Then Nico Moore, who crashed, and then TBNR Cars was really primarily 3rd before this race really took a turn. Then we go to Caleb, who was fighting to stay on the lead lap not that long ago. Dollar Sign sitting in 8th. Aiden, once again, our new addition, sitting 9th. Jordo in 10th. As Evo will come around to take lap 128. Getting closer to the end of this Indianapolis 500, but still so far to go. Evo reined it in a little bit. That was close, and that just tells me that... Whoa! We have a caution that got called by the game itself. It is Rad Realtor from 2nd place who hits the wall. Well, I'm not really going to bore you with multiple replays of this because it looks like for the 4th straight yellow flag, it's the same thing. Driving up into the wall. It's more or less the same thing. At least Rad Realtor stopped before he hit the wall again. But we've seen that hit take out a couple cars in this race. We'll see if he's one of them. Well, in a race that, 131 laps in, I think we can safely say we don't know who the hell's going to win. El Jefe leads the field to green to take lap 132.
Green, green, green.
Well, we're clean so far. It's not entirely a surprise. It's been about 5 to 10 laps into a run, a green flag run, that we have encountered the problems. It just gets to be that point, and then every car in the field just loves to overdrive it. So it seems. And hit the turn 2 wall. Sometimes not even 5 laps. This is been a slow-moving second half of the race with the amount of yellow flags that we've had. And we got Tigers baseball to play after this. So what a joy that is. I am happy, and Jeff would be disappointed. Well, maybe he'd be happy about me saying this. I'm out of Toronto, which is a good thing for me. Tigers franchise did not have a good showing against the Toronto Blue Jays. We're up against the St. Louis Cardinals for 3 games on the road, starting later tonight. Lap 135. Nico Moore has actually found himself the first car 1 lap down after yet another car that was going to earn the free pass has decided to pit instead of take it. It's been every caution, and I can't really see the logic behind it, but the artificial intelligence, if you will, has not been very intelligent. So let's flash back to the back of the field that is actually, for the moment, relatively sorted out. Now it's a little bit more hectic farther up the road. Marcus Ericsson, Stingray Robb, Joseph Newgarden in a cluster of cars. Pat dives to the inside. Believe of Marcus Ericsson here. This is not for position. Here on lap 137. Pat, like a few others that have gotten into some incidents, Rad Realtor, Austin, Nico Moore, and even D. Kuzmic, who stuck 2 laps down. Just can't help themselves. Every yellow flag we have is another chance to not screw it up. But he's got some company there. That Realtor and Austin not too far behind. The 3 car did have some speed at various points in this race, so wouldn't be too shocking to see him just kind of run away with it, and maybe he'll be the one to do the smart thing and stay out, actually take the free pass. Lap 138, and Jeff is pulling away, as we've seen on some of the longer runs. It's about a 3-second lead. He ran the middle line through there, and this is one of the cars that pitted on lap 102, so he is going to come in. And that is going to give the lead back to Gundy. Not the first time that the 48 has led today. Jeff, the only car to the pit lane. And Gundy, I think, caught a piece of the wall there. Car is good to continue for the moment. Coming out of turn 2 there, it looked a little towed in on the right front. I'm not so certain if that's the case. This run through 3 and 4 might be a good indication. But the 48, I mean, I don't know. The 48 might be up to speed here. Trying to run another lap, and yes. Gundy will continue. A lap 102 pit stop. Wait, what? I mean, I know we've had a lot of cautions, but what? I have to. I have to go to gyro cam here. I don't know. Does that right front seem okay to you? I guess it kinda does. Let's actually go right. I'm not so certain it does. Left front. I'm telling you, there might be some damage there. Gundy, Squid, TBNR Cars, $. Aiden's gonna pit. Who's gonna inherit the lead? It is Jordo in the 43 for the moment. There are, let's see, 3, 4 cars left out on track from those that pitted under the yellow flag on lap 102. Jordo, myself, Caleb, the top 3 pitted on lap 102. Ash actually, well, came back down pit road on lap 119 to fix that slight damage from slapping the wall. The top 3 come down pit road, so I think we know what that means. Graham Rahal is into the pit lane, and YoGamer has actually stayed out, who pitted on lap 110. So still kind of in that window, but we could run a little bit longer here just because of the numerous yellow flags as we approach 50 laps to go in the Indianapolis 500. So the bad news for YoGamer is 32 laps into a fuel run. He will have to surrender the lead to Ash at some point, barring another incident yellow. Graham Rahal re-entering the track on the bottom. Haven't had any real incidents there. There are 26 cars on the lead lap, and again, just a far cry. And I'm very glad that this race has panned out a little bit better. It's still the iRacing Indy AI chaos, where sometimes people just forget to drive and yellow flags come out. But this is way better than what we did a year ago, without a shadow of a doubt. And I mean, there have been no changes. I didn't change anything. In the car collection, watch out, YoGamer. That didn't look very good. Yellow flag is out. Oh, we have 2 cars involved. $sign and Gundy on the back straightaway. Oh, no. Lap 144, a 2-car incident. So we're on board with Gundy. It's the same wreck we've seen time and time again. Did Graham Rahal crash on his own somewhere else, or was he caught up in this? So then this, I guess, is a completely separate incident, but yet it might be the same incident, and yes, it is. Odd hit there for $sign, who really dug in to that turn 2 wall, the exit of turn 2, and actually comes to rest up at the top of the track, which is something we have not seen much. About ready to take the green flag after our 8th caution of the day. 7 for incidents, 1 debris. TBNR Cars Gaming will take the green flag on lap 148, back up to the front for the 79. I'll tell you what, the 43 just about made a move off the restart, which is not something we've seen a ton of today. And actually is holding pace just a little bit with the 79 of TBNR Cars. time on the leader as well. Jordo already won 1 crown jewel in the Daytona 500 back in February. Now, I would say, I would think that the top 5 who stayed out under the caution, they're the ones that I think did the right thing. Seeing that many cars down pit road didn't really feel right. I mean, you look at the last pit stops for these cars. I mean, yellow flag is out. I'm not even really sure what happened. It is Rad Realtor. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. What happened here? Oh, my God. Get ready for the ride of your lives. Blue car, center of the screen. Rad Realtor. Problems up top. Couple of cars get hooked together. Rad Realtor becomes a spaceship, and he flips more than any accident I have ever seen in this game. Oh my God, what was that? No indication of a crash, it just said he went off track. Well, I'd say I hope you don't have epilepsy, but if you're watching Twitch, you probably don't. Watch this. Oh my God. From the onboard with Rad Realtor, another very dizzying camera shot. I just can't stop watching this wreck. It was that wild. Contact on the outside. Rad Realtor goes airborne, and he flips for the entirety of turn 2. Well, not the entirety, but you get my point. Oh my God. Now, the unfortunate part for Rad Realtor is that he is now 2 laps down, and we've seen how cars act 1 lap down, so I don't have a lot of hope. Actually, I want to see the scoreboard cycle around again, as we're about to take lap 154. Pat took the free pass. He is on the lead lap in 26th place. Back to green at Indy. We just had a pass under green for the lead off a restart, and naturally I'm the one that did it, but I am going to get got right back by TBNR cars. Back to the lead of the Indianapolis 500. Caution is out, and it is Pat this time. Just got back on the lead lap. And now the 3 is up in the air. We hadn't seen a car airborne all day. Now back-to-back yellows in the span of about 5 minutes. Well, we hadn't really seen cars get airborne for the first 3 quarters of this race. Pat's second wreck of the day. Oh, just so much confusion. Oh, Will Power. Oh, my goodness. Just put Pat in the spin cycle. He's had so much good luck in the NASCAR Chat Series. It is not panned out that way for him today. So the onboard with Pat, we're going to take a look at Will Power, who made contact with one of the McLarens, and oh! I feel like we've been here before. Man, oh man, when these cars get rolling. Maybe gyro cam was a bad choice. We'll go cockpit for Will Power. So I lied. It was actually Joseph Newgarden, not Will Power, that had the contact that really started this whole thing. Oh, and he gets to see the ride that Pat went on. Oh my goodness. And Newgarden as well, pretty messed up in the wreck. Well, we had a caution-free first segment of this race. Well, we've learned now that it likely wasn't going to last very long. TBNR Cars leads yet again as we take the green on lap 158, inside 50 to go in the Indianapolis 500.
Green flag, green flag.
An attempt at a green flag pass for the lead for the moment. Jordo's got it. Clear into the lead on lap 158. Got around TBR Cars, who slapped the wall, kissed the wall. Took the Firestone off of those Firestones. This race has gone on. Oh, no! Hard into the wall, and we saw it happen. Multiple cars involved. I am one of them. Massive wreck here on lap 159. I mean, you can see this coming from the 79 a mile away. I don't know what the plan was. Drove it straight up into the wall. And for a rare time today, a second car is collected. And, well, it's me. Well, this is going to be a fun view. Get to see it all happen. The 79 on the wall, barely avoid a piece of the wing, and I turn down in on him. That's a great job there, me. Why did I gas it up here? Where am I trying to go with 3 tires? I do not know. Well, how many times have we seen this in recent weeks? Jordo and Ash battling up top. 43 will lead us to green to take lap 163 as we are begging for a long green flag run. Well, if it's a long green flag run we want, that's a good start. 43 out in front by just about a second. I mean, hell, 10 laps would be a long green flag run at this stage of the race. For the 3rd time today, it is Pat. 2 laps, less than 2 laps under green, and we are back under yellow. Well, I don't know who got airborne, if it was Pat or somebody else. I got out of shape, hit the wall. Pat moved up into the side pod. Pat's airborne again, but at least he doesn't flip 30 times. And I don't really know what my plan was, speeding around the apron like that. This is going to be a view. Oh, it was contact with the 45. Sent me into the wall, and Pat ran me over. Well, I certainly don't think that my car is okay. Well, unfortunately, for the outcome, or at least the end of this race, it does appear that Pat is still in it. Cars crashed 3 times in 30 laps, flipped about 30 times. We're back to green at Indianapolis to take lap 168. Please stay green.
Green, green, green.
Well, we got through a lap. That's a start. And the back of the field is as chaotic as ever. 2 wide. A lot of jolty moves. Don't like any of what's going on here. For the moment, we're keeping it straight. Feel like this is just where we need to be. Even though a good chunk of the yellow flags in this race have been single car incidents towards the front of the field. A lot of just over driving to this point. And yet, oddly enough, in the back where it's as hectic as anywhere on the track, up until recently, everybody had been primarily relatively straight. Oh, Jesus, Stingray Rob just cut off Graham Rahal. Goodness. Couple cars flirting with the outside wall on the exit of turn 2. But until we're green for a couple laps, this is just where we need to be. This is where it's all happened. Jordo leads for the moment. That lead has already been stretched out to almost 3 seconds. Top of the field just stretched out all over the place. But it has been impossible to get a green flag run in the second half of this race. So I'm not holding my breath. Would it be great for the sake of time, as we're already past 10 p.m. and we have baseball to play? Yes. Will it happen? It is not likely. I would throw the reminder out there that, I mean, there is still at least 1 chat caution remaining. You have 8 laps left to call it, but with the amount of yellows that we've had in this race, I don't think you wanna. So there is the lead for Jordo, just absolutely pieced the fuck out. And I do not blame you for not touching it, because this 43 car, we know, has to pit again. Last pitted on lap 141. So about to reach 30 laps, or actually over 30 laps already on this current run. I don't know how the tires have anything left. But if it stays green to the end, and the 43 has to pit from the lead, I mean, that sets Ash up in outstanding position. And, I mean, it's borderline. All the cars that pitted on lap 165, that is the very tail end of the fuel window. 35 laps. We haven't really seen anybody try and go 35 laps. Green flag running for the moment. And then every caution after this will, of course, benefit. And, I mean, Ash just looks like she's saving fuel back there. And the 43, knowing that she's got a pit again, close with that wall in turn 2 again. Knowing that she's got a pit again is just pedal to the metal. Honestly, one of the biggest leads we've seen today. We're about to come to 26 laps to go. A nearly 6.5 second lead for the one car that's got to come down pit lane again. The rest of the field just kind of hanging back. Ash is driving it hard, that's for sure. Saw a little wobble there out of turn 2. But that's where the intrigue is. Ash has a 2-second lead over Caleb in 3rd for the moment. Evo is top 10, top 5 even. Sitting in 4th place at the moment. Aiden Too Solid in his chat series debut sits 5th. C Goated, 2nd ever appearance, both in the Indianapolis 500 in 6th. Yo Gamer in 7th. And a point-scoring monster for the stage points in the NASCAR chat series. Smee has crawled back, as he always does, into the top 10. Lucas 9th, and Elio Castroneves is in 10th. We have not really mentioned any of the real Indy drivers very much in this race, as we do officially have 25 laps to go and about to be 24 to go. How does this car have anything left? Into the wall. Oh, that did not look very fun for the 43. Last pit stop for this car was on lap 141. Does that math, or is this car going way farther than it ever should have gone? And still going up on the high side, not coming in this time around either. Nearly a 9-second lead. 43 is going to crash before it comes down pit road. It does appear every time you get into turn 2. It is just a terrifying experience. Man, oh man. Well, we'll go on board with the 43. Well, that didn't last long, because in comes the 43, which does mean that Ash will take the lead. Our longest green flag stint of the second half of this Indianapolis 500 is the one that really has the most intrigue. We stay green. Lord knows what's going to happen. Pitted on lap 165. Everybody all the way back to Colton Herta in 15th, and even some beyond that pitted on that lap. Caleb is only 1.2 seconds back. Could have a race for the lead here. Evo up front when it matters yet again. Sitting in 3rd. Some good performances out of a chatter that hasn't always had the best of luck in these races. Ash, of course, winner back at Le Mans in the GT category in Gran Turismo 7. Caleb, a 2-time winner at Daytona in the Mazdas and in the GT class at Daytona in Gran Turismo 7. And Evo, who was a pole-sitting master in the Gran Turismo series, but has not done much outside of winning the Mazda finale when the points were already decided, and winning last week's All-Star race in the NASCAR Chat Series. And then you have Aiden in his very first race, about 4.5 seconds back, and Caleb is making moves, at least closing in that gap on Ash. And maybe that's a smart thing for Ash to do. Let the 35 pass, and there it is. Right as we took the 20 to go, right before we reached the lap, the caution flag is out. And who knows, I don't know why Caleb's bothering to pass. Well, we actually, wait a minute. Wait a gosh darn second. I think we had a yellow flag come out there. We were going to have to call a yellow anyway. Unbelievably, right when the debris caution was called, the 43, who was in a decent chance, I think, for this race, if the pit strategy worked out her way, smacks the wall. So a caution was coming out, actually, regardless. And, of course, to the cockpit cam. Bang. Just drove it right into the outside wall at turn 2 that has had, I don't even know, about 10 cars hit it at this point. We actually have 2 IRL Indy drivers inside the top 10. Pato O'Ward and Elio Castroneves, legend of this race. And I feel so bad that even though it's not one of his legendary schemes, it's one of his more recent Meyer-Shank schemes, but it didn't load in. That's that white car in the inside row 3. And oh my God, Smee is sitting in 3rd. We're back to green at Indy with 16 laps to go. Caleb leads, trying to add yet another crown jewel win to his resume in the Chat Series.
Green flag, green flag.
Well, as we mentioned a bit earlier, Sparty, Caleb, in the 35, your current leader in the Quaker State car. In the very early beginnings of what would become just the Chat Series in general, won 2 races. He won the very first in Gran Turismo, and he won the very first in the Mazdas at Daytona, and now is looking to add the Indianapolis 500 to the resume, with 14, about to be 13 laps to go. And I'm starting to think that the only thing that gets in the way is gonna be a caution or a boneheaded pit stop from the 35. A yellow flag would be catastrophic, that is for sure, even though it has been very hard to pass the leader off a restart and maintain it. Pit stops are what have really shuffled the field here in this one. Don't look now. Austin, our very first incident of the day, is up into 9th after finally getting his lap back. DFL was almost assured with the strategy employed by the 68 car Leo Castroneves is dropped back to 10th place. 12 to go as Caleb has gapped Yo Gamer and Smee nearly by 2.5 seconds. Your entire top 10 pitted on lap 165. The nearest, or the soonest differing pit strategy in the running order is Ash in 11th. Fresher tires and making moves up a bunch of spots since the restart with 11 laps to go. Pitted from the lead, will it work out? Do these cars have enough to go the rest of the way? 2 cautions have helped them out. But you're still burning some fuel to go about, I don't know, 10 laps under that. And nobody's really gone 35 laps all day, as we have 10 to go in the Indianapolis 500. Oh, good God, the 35. Oh, no. That right there tells me that we are nearing an accident. It might not be Caleb, but I feel it's going to be somebody. And remember, this race, and really I think all NASCAR Chat Series races, we haven't really gotten into that scenario. I'm not really sure if green, white checkers are a thing. This race can end under yellow. It's over a 3-second lead for Caleb, who kisses the wall. Out of turn 2, came close last time, did it this time. Generally, a yellow flag is soon to follow. Everything is straight for the moment. I'm not sure if Caleb's steering is, but we're still going. All right, what do you do now? Stay out. You feel like you can't pit even if something is wrong. Unless there's a fuel concern. The 35 much better through turn 2 that time around with 8 laps to go. As we watch your leader, 3.3 seconds in front. Squid is inside the top 10 into 5th place, barring some pit strategy chaos. It's not going to happen here today. Well, we haven't had a back-to-back winner in anything. Back-to-back races, back-to-back events. So for one member of chat to win both Indy 500s we've held would certainly be interesting. Caleb is peacing out. Ever since we got past lap 150, we've at least made attempts at longer runs. That's not entirely true. Really, just past lap 170, there have been attempts. Can we go 6 more laps under green and Caleb to win what would be at least his 3rd? I would have to double check. Oh, he got close to that wall yet again. I would have to check the rest of the results from Gran Turismo, but I know he won 1 Mazda race, the very first one, and at least 1 Gran Turismo race, the first one there. Has yet to win in the NASCAR Chat Series. But in his 2nd time out, is about to be 5 laps away from winning the greatest spectacle in racing. I might have to try and learn how to design a Delara just for Caleb and, make it green and white if he's able to pull through here. Not like we're going to be back here until next year, so I got plenty of time. 5 to go at Indy. I have remembered that within 3 laps, I do have to close auto stages. So if we have a caution inside 2 to go, I have to handle it myself. Head back into the game. Oh my goodness, he could not make it. The dominoes have started to fall, and Yo Gamer assumes the lead with 4 to go. He kisses the wall. Back in. Got into it. Reminder that all of these cars up at the front of the field pitted at the same time. Ash is into 10th and might be sitting the most pretty right now. Yo Gamer certainly looks like he's about to come down pit road. Who will take the 3 to go? It will not be Yo Gamer. It will be Smee. Lucas. Then Squid. With 3 to go. Smee, your leader, will pay attention to the behavior of the car here as we come through. They start to take that middle line. Once you get through turn 3, they're generally coming down pit road. Smee has not done that. Will Smee try and make it to the end? He will take the 2 to go. Lucas, everybody else seemingly staying out right now. Are we going to have a car pit with a lap to go? Is that really what's going to happen here? Or is Smee genuinely going to win this thing? No indication on the backstretch. No indication in turn 3. Oh my goodness. Our nightmare may just come true. If you didn't know it, we haven't told the story. Smee was a longtime troll of this channel. I put him in to cause absolute chaos into this series. And it appears chaos he has caused. Into turn 3 for the final time. Bitcoin on board. And I cannot believe I am going to say this in the most disappointing fashion. Smee wins our second running of the Indianapolis 500. I feel like after that, oh my God, we might just have to retire Smee, because I have never been more disappointed in my life. The 23 wasn't a factor much of the day, had enough gas to make it to the end. He beats out Lucas, last year's winner in Squid. Jeff will finish 4th. Nico Moore in 5th. What a rebound for him, by the way. Pato O'Ward in 6th. Austin, what a rebound for him in 7th. Helio Castroneves 8th. Ash in 9th. And Stingray Rob finishes in 10th position. Gotta be honest, don't know what to say. It is Smee. My longtime enemy, if you will, who passes Yo Gamer, who comes down pit road to win the Indianapolis 500. He was put in here to be a troll, and he has trolled us all. And one of the biggest events that we do, failed post-race, would give the win to Lucas. I suppose I am the end-all, be-all when it does come to the race and to the series, but he won the race. I cannot believe it, but the 23 is your winner, and that means that Smee will try and go back-to-back and try and win both races of the double. A lot of cars doing the double, if you want to be technical, but 23 will have a chance to win the Coke 600 sometime later this week to complete that. At the very least, finish the double, as everyone but Red Wings has at least tried to do. So we will see you later this week when we get to Charlotte for the Coke 600.